Welcome back to the Jank Bank. If you like experimental off-the-wall decks, you're in the right place. Today we're looking at Merchant. We've got Kavdaen Overloaded, and this will be forming part of a series of UPF Battlebox decks. Let's get in! Kavdaen is the original merchant from Crucible of War, with quite a chilling backstory if you look into the Flesh and Blood lore. He's got an ability to pay 3 and gain a little bit of life or gain a little bit of copper, a little bit of wheeling and dealing, like merchants do. As merchants don't have any class-specific weapons, we're going to be running Talishar, which costs 2 to swing for 4 and can do that 3 times. But really what we want to be doing in this deck is setting up a lot of buffs and buffing a big overload to push damage with Dominate. In this UPF Battlebox series, I'm running plenty of budget equipment. I don't want this thing to cost a lot of money. The Hope Merchant's Hood is key in this deck, as that allows us to search out those overloads ready for those big turns. Blossom of Spring gives us access to an extra resource in a pinch when we need it. Braces of Belief gives another buff to our big overload attacks. And Ironrot Legs is Ironrot Legs, it blocks for 1. Deep Blue, Ironhide Gauntlet and Null Rune Boots make up the equipment suite. As a merchant, we're going to have to wheel and deal a little bit in order to get by. We've got plenty of good blocking power to do this. Sink Below allows us to block for 4 and filter our hand looking for overloads. Fate Foreseen allows us to block for 4 and opt looking for overloads. And we've got some extra bulk in the form of Unmovable, which can be pitched away to Kavdaen if we don't need it. We've also got Sigil of Solace, allowing us to control our life total a little bit in order to make the most of Kavdaen's ability. As Overload is the only attack action card we're running in this deck, we really need to set up shop correctly to make sure that we can push damage and make these cards count. We've got plenty of buffs, making Overload as big as possible, providing a dominated attack to push plenty of damage. Minnowism, Nimblism and Counterfight are probably buffs that you might have seen before. But we're also running some rarer breeds, like Warmonger's Recital, Force Sight, and even Potion of Strength. We've also got Plunder Run, but this has got to be played from Arsenal to give us the buff, and we're also pushing damage on the back end with Razor Reflex as an attack reaction. This is a Jank Bank deck, so we'd expect to be on theme, and we're a merchant, so we need to be making money. We've got ways to manipulate our life total, and we've jammed plenty of blues in this deck to be able to activate Kavdaen's ability. We're also running High Striker in the yellow and blue versions, which allow us to create copper when our attacks hit. This also works on Talishar as well as overloads. Once we've got our hard-earned cash, we can go out and spend it on cards, gaining some card advantage using the single copy of Cash In. Time to have a look at some sample turns. We've got a Plunder Run in Arsenal, which is right where we want it to be. I'm going to draw 4 cards and have a look at our hand. Okay, we've got an overpower. Things are looking good. Looks like we're going to play out the Plunder Run, giving a buff of 3. Might pitch the High Striker here to play Warmonger's Recital. That gives us 2 floating. We're going to play out the Overload. That's going to come in for 8 Dominate and on hit draw a card. We're going to buff that to 11 with the Razor Reflex and draw. We've drawn a red Nimblism. This gives us some options. We can pitch it to swing Talishar. We could break the Blossom to swing Talishar and Arsenal the Nimblism. Or we could just Arsenal the Nimblism. We've got to be sparing on how many times we use Talishar anyway. Time to have a look at the deck stats. We're running 12 blue pitch cards and 6 yellow, which is plenty to fuel our turns. It also allows us to pitch to Kavdaen. We've got 14 damage buffs and a little copper sub-theme for that wheeling and dealing merchant life. This deck seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to testing it out on a Fab and Chill casual gameplay video at some point soon. Who knows, might even be an Ultimate Pit Fight video. We'll see if we can get that going. Anyway, if you like what you've seen, you can help us by subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon. There's plenty more gameplay footage and deck text to come. This deck can be found on FabDB and the link's in the description. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.